have taught me amazing things. They've shown me that equines are the bridge to a deeper understanding of the meaning of life and a better sense of ourselves in this world. I'm Meredith Hodges, and I'd like to share with you some of the people I've met and the experiences that I've had along life's journey with those magnificent mules.
Colorful Colorado, with its majestic Rocky Mountains and wide open spaces, also boasts the Loveland Long Years Museum and Sculpture Park at the Lucky 3 Ranch, home of some of the finest mules and donkeys in the world. This working ranch is just 40 miles north of Denver. World-renowned authority on mules and donkeys, Meredith Hodges, invites you and your family for an adventure in learning you won't want to miss. Come visit the Lucky 3 Ranch, meet Meredith, her champion mules and donkeys, and take in the beauty of her long years art for the experience of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. I get a lot of letters and emails from people with training and behavior questions about their equines. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning with a series of training tips that work for all equines. Equines, like all animals, need clear and consistent leadership. This is especially true when directing your equine through movements. So make those movements straight lines, gradual arcs, and square stops. A person can walk a straight line and do an abrupt turn in a short distance. A four-legged equine will require much more room for the same movement. Make sure there is a 3-minute pause between movements so your equine can mentally process the movement he has just done and then has time to settle. For instance, walk a straight line, then stop. Turn and square up your animal. And then stand with him for 3 minutes. During these 3 minutes, reward him and talk to him. When he's completely relaxed, you can then proceed to the next move. Always look where you are going, match your legs to the front legs of your animal, and then stop with your feet together, and your equine should do the same. You are the role model for your equine. He will mirror what you do. Leading training is much more critical than just teaching your animal to follow. It sets the stage for balance and good posture, which enables your equine to really feel good and to appreciate you for helping him feel that way.
Let me show a couple other structures I think will be of interest. One would assume, I think, if we were looking at a horse's head, I think most people would assume that their brain is probably right about here, if you can imagine that, with hair and skin and ears and everything. And in actuality, if you look here, you can see this sort of dome here. It's pretty small. And if I put my fingers around this, this is actually the cranial vault. This is where the brain resides, is inside of this. And the horse actually has a relatively small brain for the size of its head. That doesn't mean that he's not intelligent, but if you think about it, what is the primary purpose of a horse's head? It's to eat a whole bunch of stuff. And if you think about it, all this from here forward, including the back part of the lower jaw here, that's all about just eating, all right? They have to eat lots of grass, lots of stuff, and sometimes they have to get their mouth wide open. And interestingly, if you look here as we articulate this horse's jaw, this is the horse's temporomandibular joint right here, way up, right behind his eyeball, okay? And all this is just a big lower jaw. You can imagine how strong that big piece of bone is. But on the other hand, a very common place for skull and jaw fractures in a horse is in their lower jaw, especially in young horses which have not fused the bone together down here. Very common to get fractures down in the lower jaw here. So where we would imagine all this, we'd like to think the brain is, that's actually all a big sinus cavity, okay? So the speculum is gone now. I want to point a couple other things out that I think we can see better now. These will be dental abnormalities, okay? Again, the points of enamel along the inside, the outside of the uppers. When we do our work on a horse or mule's teeth with these rasps, I think you can see that there's an angle here of these lower teeth. I'm going to accentuate it a little bit like this. In other words, they're not perfectly horizontal. Well, the same thing happens with the uppers. And the reason that they have that is if you'll watch this horse's jaw as he would move it when he was grinding. And if you watch a horse eat, you know, they don't, and even people, you know, people that are very prissy about the way they eat, they, like this, it's not a very effective way to chew up your food, and it's not good for you. You have to grind, and so the more that jaw, lower jaw rolls around, the more efficient the grinding process. If you watch as this horse is made to grind by me, you see how it lifts those teeth up, and that's because of those two opposing non-horizontal planes there. That's a much larger grinding surface to work on than if they were perfectly flat. One other interesting thing, and we talked about this a little bit on the live animals, and with the fact that horses, mules, donkeys, etc., teeth continue to grow pretty much throughout their life until the tooth has expended itself, at which point it falls out. On this skull, and you know, if we could take an x-ray, what we would find is that the base of this horse's cheek teeth, the bottom of those teeth is going to be way down in here, all right? And as that tooth continues to grow out through his lifetime, what happens is the socket that's left behind fills in with bone. And at some point, then that tooth has completely grown out. And again, this is a common thing we'll see in older horses when we're doing routine work, is we get in there and we say, oh, well, that one's gone and it's no more. And once it comes out, there will be a defect left behind, which will then be filled with gum-like material. And again, you know, it's a normal occurrence in a horse. Some of the things that, again, used to be done and that we're learning now are probably not a good idea are things like removing what are called deciduous caps or baby teeth. And horses will lose baby teeth along these cheek teeth, usually starting around 4 years of age. In the older days, people used to say, well, the problem is he's got a cap, let's pull it off. It's another instance where letting nature work its normal course is oftentimes the best course. What does it mean when a horse is long in the tooth, and why do we use that? And that's one of my favorite questions. We just talked about the fact that these guys' teeth grow throughout their lives. And I wish I had a baby skull here, but this is a fairly aged horse, and because of the fact that it's been preserved, I actually can't look at it and age him by his teeth. And that runs me off on another tangent that I'll deal with quickly. Aging horses by their teeth is an art and an inexact science, in that we can estimate within a reasonable period what a horse's age might be. But there is no one on this earth that can look at any horse and tell you exactly how old that horse is. The reason for that, again, why? Because the environment is different for different horses. A 20-year-old in Oregon versus a 20-year-old in the desert of California. So we can make an estimate, but believe me, we would much rather you could tell us what the age of your mule is. That's very handy. And then what we'll do is we'll look at that animal's teeth and say, that makes a lot of sense. That agrees, or, gee, this doesn't quite agree. That's interesting, which is kind of fun for us, because then if you tell me that this animal is registered, you raised it from a baby, in other words, you know exactly how old it is, then that gives us information that says, all right, in this particular area, if the animal grew up here its whole life, then an 18-year-old looks maybe a little bit more like a 16-year-old somewhere else, all right? So don't let anyone look at any of your animal's teeth and tell you exactly how old it is, because consider it an educated guess based on what the level of education is of the guessor, okay? Why do we say a horse is long in a tooth? Because we said their teeth continue to grow throughout their lifetime. If you look at a very young horse, and the profile that I'm trying to demonstrate is looking at him from this angle, the youngster looks like this. As the animal gets older, such as this guy, what you'll see is they go from young to older to older to older to very old. So when an animal is long in the tooth, what they're saying is, and this is from the ancient times of aging horses, somebody came up and peeled this lip up and peeled the bottom one down and looked at it from the side, and if he's long in the tooth, he looks like this, and a baby looks like this. That's a great one. My last one is, where did the phrase come from, looking a gift horse in the mouth? What does that mean? I heard that my entire childhood, and I was like, I don't know. If you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world. And the problem is it's an old saying, so a gift horse, I think, is a gifted horse, not a horse that's really good at something, but a horse that was given. If someone gifts you a horse, I think it would be impolite to roll that lip up and roll that lip up and have a look and say, that horse you just gifted me is 25 years old. That's where the saying comes from.
1, 2, 3. go see a huge mule? Okay, you're fine. Stroke with the head, that's all you gotta do. Okay, come on, boys, let's go. Come on.
Every owner knows that a well-taken care of equine is a happy equine. More and more, a technique being used to enhance our animals' overall conditioning is equine massage.
What you have to realize is you're training an animal in their muscle tissue, and their muscle tissue has to be able to perform the task that you're asking the animal to perform. If you're having a hard time doing the advanced things, you need to go back to the beginning. The massage helps break the pattern of the neurons that fire to that muscle, that tell it to contract, to contract, to contract.
With proper instruction, just about anyone can learn to give their equine the benefit of basic massage.
I've been working on equines for a long time, and a lot of people look at you and hope that you can just come out and make an animal better. And you can't do that. It takes two pieces, the massage as well as the exercise. And the exercise is actually more important than the massage. And that's something that people really have to understand. And Meredith's tapes do that. And a lot of people don't want to take that long a time frame. They just want to do their 60 days, get on the animal and ride them. But that's not really where you can go with their backs.
For more intensive therapeutic massage, be sure to consult a professional. Equine massage not only enhances your animal's health and overall condition, it's also a deeply personal and rewarding bonding experience for both of you.
Many of you who love your horses also love your dogs. This type of massage can be beneficial for all your pets. If you want to improve your animal's quality of life, I can help. I can either teach you how to do it, or I can massage your dogs for you. Contact me at dogmassage.com.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. I get a lot of letters and emails from people with training and behavior questions about their equines. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning with a series of training tips that work for all equines. If you want your equine to be happy and healthy for the long haul, understanding and implementing a routine feeding regimen is key. In this training tip, I'm going to talk specifically about hay. The hay you feed your equine should be early cut, bright green, and fine stemmed. Make sure it is well cured and free from dust and mold. Timothy and other grass hays are most easily digested, but avoid fescue. It is toxic for equines, especially pregnant mares. No equine should ever be given alfalfa or alfalfa products. This is a common mistake and cannot be stressed enough. Make sure you always include fresh, clean drinking water and a good quality trace mineral salt block in each stall and in the pasture. Good quality hay greatly helps to ensure the healthy function of your equine's digestive tract.
Artwork inspired by mules and donkeys is quickly gaining popularity. Tennessee mule artist Bonnie Shields has the uncanny ability to capture the fun-loving nature of these free-spirited animals.
They were like a horse, but they weren't like a horse. They had a little different body. They used their body a different way. They certainly had a different mental attitude. So they started intriguing me as an artist, and I kept finding the differences between them and the horse, both physically and in their reaction to things. So that started my love affair with the mule. When you deal with the mule, you're not always in charge. So it takes a little bit of a different kind of personality to appreciate the mule and to work with her.
She was the only artist that could really capture the essence of mules and donkeys. The mules and donkeys are really good teachers and teachers of life lessons. And Bonnie has just been an inspiration to me ever since. Wow, how'd it do?
Whoa. I know that All through the years, Meredith gives tours to the ranch. But what a wonderful addition to this whole ranch would be a sculpture park just for the mules and the donkeys. So I just thought it was an awesome idea. And then she let me be part of it. It's a wonderful thing, and when you come to visit the Lucky Three, it's just an added bonus.
Mule people, you reckon I could get Meredith to make a tape on how to teach your mule to shovel snow? I sure gonna try. Wish me luck.
Just a wonderful human being, and working with her is always humorous. She is just funny as the day is long, and so I thought that she would be absolutely perfect as the illustrator for the Jasper series that I wanted to do.
The Daydreamers was inspired by a thing that I saw years ago. I heard about this family up in Kentucky. They'd been working tobacco out in the field with their mules. And one of the boys, he was laying across this mule's back, laying in the shade. They'd been working, and he was resting on the back of his mule in the shade. That just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, gee, a kid like that, you know, he thinks he's stuck on the farm. He thinks he's stuck doing all this terrible old work, and he's laying up there and he's daydreaming about getting away from it all. So that's where Daydreamer came from. Sculpture's not the only thing I do. Matter of fact, I got into sculpture maybe a little later in my career. Mostly, I was known for my pencil drawings and my acrylic paintings for many, many years.
Long ears art. It may be whimsical, like a cartoon, or it may simply be breathtaking. Long ears are taking their place in the world of art, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Having problems? Need an accessible trainer? Whether you're just a weekend trail rider or showing, the principles of training are the same. You want a safe and reliable equine companion. Produced by Meredith Hodges, Training Mules and Donkeys, a logical approach to long ears, will help you build a good working relationship with your animal. Meredith reveals the secrets of successful maintenance and resistance-free training that can be implemented by anyone, resulting in a satisfying partnership between you and your equine. Meredith answers your training questions promptly via mail or phone. Her books are great general resources, and her videos are detailed, outlining the day-to-day exercises needed to produce a versatile and dependable equine companion. Meredith's techniques work with all equines. Do you have children, grandchildren? Check out Jasper, the story of a mule. For more information, check out our website at www.lucky3ranch.com or call 1-800-816-7566.
Mules are working their way into the hearts of people everywhere. If you'd like to know more about these wonderful long-eared animals, you can contact us at 1-800-816-7566 or get on our website at lucky3ranch.com.
Dusty old quilt hung crooked on a couch in an old stone house by a lazy river. Songbirds singing to me like slow